Is this $80 watch better than an Apple Watch? Let's find out. Welcome back to Jason's Honest Reviews. This is the Amazfit Bip 6. I've been using this watch now for about 6 months, and to be honest, I see a lot of similarities with my wife's Apple Watch. The battery life is actually way better, about 14 days with light use, 6 days if you're using it a lot, or 32 hours is what they say if you've got the GPS on constantly. I recharge it about once a week. Now the screen is 1.97 inches LED. Don't ask me why they didn't just make it 2 inches, but it has a tempered glass screen. I still use a screen protector. It's just a little silicone screen protector because it is still possible to get little scratches on there, and I just figure it's a lot safer that way. You've got 2 buttons on this side. On this side, there's a speaker, and if it does get wet, because it is waterproof up to 50 meters, similar to the Apple Watch, it'll have you turn it this way. The speaker will make some sounds. It's supposed to get the water out. The other thing I really like about it is the strap, is this nice silicone strap. I'll take it off for a second to show you. So you can see all these different little holes, which makes it very breathable. It doesn't trap under there. But also each of these is a spot where you can put it. And so you can have a pretty wide range of sizes of wrist that could still wear that, from there all the way down to, well, there if you wanted to, I guess. And then I like the design here as well, which again is almost identical. They probably borrowed it, is a generous term, from Apple, where the tail of the strap actually just tucks right underneath there. You see the different sensors here, and so this tracks several things. It tracks your heart rate, as you would expect. It'll track your steps. It also tracks your oxygen saturation, the SpO2 number. And then with your sleep, it has a couple unique things that it tracks there. And then the sports mode, I'm a big fan of. I use that probably the most of anything. So there are 140 different modes and very customizable, not just in this, but in everything else. Meaning I'll show you really quick. So I can change the order of these sport modes. I can include or exclude different ones that I want to show up. So the ones that I use a lot, I can put at the top so I don't have to scroll as far. And then the ones I never use at all, I can just take off the list entirely. At the bottom, there's a thing that says more workouts, where you can switch and find ones that may not be there. You can also change a couple things with the settings. So by default, it will have a voice that comes on and says starting workout. And then for a run, for example, after I think it's 1 mile, it'll come on and say, you've gone 1 mile, this was your pace, which in some instances is helpful, but I turned it off when I was playing soccer, because in the middle of my soccer match, it was kind of this embarrassing, loud, computerized voice saying how far I'd run and things like that. So very customizable there as well. It does have built-in GPS, so that if I go on a run or when I'm playing soccer, I don't have my phone in my pocket. It's not using the GPS from the phone. It has its own built-in GPS. If I am on a walk or on a hike, it is tracking my GPS, and I can actually use that to get me back to my starting point. So say you're on a hike with several different forks in the road, you can turn that on and actually see on the screen the original path that you took and your current path, so that you can make sure that you get back to where you started.
Okay, I'm going to get a real life example for you here. So I am out on a walk. You can see not only does it tell me my heart rate, but it tells me which heart rate zone I'm in. I have mine not always on, but to wake when I lift my wrist, so that if I want to see where I'm at, I can just do this. Now, since I only have one hand and I'm filming with the other, I'm going to put it in that navigation mode I was showing you a second ago. So now I can see I turned around. The blue line is where I've gone since I turned on that backtrack. It's telling me how many feet, 790 more feet this way. I'm going to turn left in 137 yards. And it does a pretty good job. So I'll show you, for example, there's a turn coming up. If I go the wrong direction, you can see pretty quickly, oh, yep, I'm not on the right track here. So it's pretty sensitive, actually. It does a pretty good job. We're going to come back on track here. And then if I want instead to just have it show me as the crow flies how to get back, let me show you what that looks. This one is now, you can see the dotted line, which is just telling me the most direct route back to where I came from. I can still see in blue the route that I took, but it's telling me which direction I need to go to get back to where I started.
The app is pretty helpful. It's not perfect, but there's some neat things there as well. Okay, so this is what the app looks like, and again, showing me some similar things to what I was seeing on the watch, just on my overview, steps, hybrid charge, exertion, and then this you can change and move around as well. Again, lots of things about this are very customizable, which I like. If I had any exercise workouts I'd already done today, they would show up here under activities. And then some of these I'm honestly not as familiar with, these core metrics, the exertion load, training status. I think that has a lot to do with someone who's training for a marathon or a race. I've tried looking into those, but honestly, I don't feel like I understood them enough to explain them to you. The VO2 max, I think is probably not hugely accurate, but you have to go on a run of a certain length for it to register that, and it will show you changes over time. So looks like I've only had like 2 of those length of races, and if you look here, it does try and help you understand things. So I like that. I like that it's very user friendly in terms of all that. They'll have different badges and things that you can earn, which is good, which is motivating. You can log your food right inside the app. I don't do that, but it's an option. And then we can see here it has several different metrics. And again, I can look at graphs of all of those, day, week, month, year. And so that's a pretty cool thing too. I can see my blood oxygen levels. Where's the minimum, where's the maximum been, all these things. I don't have, I guess you just manually can put in your blood glucose and monitor that. Same with blood pressure. Kind of nice to be able to have everything in one place, but it doesn't measure those things for you. Same with the steps. I can look and see what's my average been the last week, the last month, the last year. Weight, again, is put in manually. It's not something that it tracks, but can help you to track that as well. And the stress one, I don't exactly understand how it measures this, but again, I have noticed just my experience that when I am feeling frustrated with my kids not listening to me or things like that, I'll get a little notification on my watch saying, hey, you seem a little stressed. Oh, here we go. This is where we can find the date. So if I went here, if I want to see a specific date, then it would tell me, like, for example, let's look at the 4th. Then I can see, okay, yeah, how many steps did I take that day? And again, you can see the activities there. It will track for me. You can put it to automatically track certain activities. I had it automatically set to track biking, but it kept thinking that when I was driving, I was biking, and it would start the measurement. And so I deactivated that one, but I still have it set to walk. And it will ask you, the watch buzzes and it asks, hey, do you want to track this or not? But it will start tracking automatically if you don't say anything. The hybrid charge, again, I explained a little bit. Life load record just kind of lets you say how you're feeling, how'd you sleep, and it'll tie into all those other things. You can see a graph there of kind of how it starts higher and decreases throughout the day, saying what it was when I woke up. And again, I can see that on a graph. What was my heart rate variability? This measures during the nighttime. What was my resting heart rate? I believe is also during the nighttime. And then sleep, you can see the different colors here will tell me when I fell asleep, when I woke up. And again, it seems to be very accurate. What was the regularity? How much was deep sleep? How much was REM? How many times did I wake up during the night? You can add different things here. What I do before I went to bed. How did I feel when I woke up? Excellent. So just kind of lets you do different things there. And then exertion. Again, this is one I don't have as much understanding of, but you can see on here fatigue level, fitness level. The days I do have more of a workout, I do notice those numbers changing. I think that is accurate. I just don't 100% understand it. And then I can look at workouts here. This tells me not just today, but what were my last workouts. I can see a whole bunch of them. Let's look at this cycling one just to give you an example. So there is a map for privacy. I scanned past that, but it'll show you where you'd been riding, tell me things like workout time, average heart rate, average speed, max speed. This was a bike ride with my son on his bike with his training wheels. So it was not a very fast bike ride. Again, it'll graph that speed and tell me at what point during the bike ride it was a certain speed. I can even make it bigger if I want to see it and see at an exact point what the speed was. Let's go back. Same with heart rate. If I zoom in here, I can see what was my heart rate at any given point in the workout. I can see what was my heart rate. It'll measure, I believe it's 3 minutes. Yeah, for the 3 minutes after you work out, and just tell you how quickly you go back to a normal heart rate. Here's the heart rate zones. These line up with, light is the same as zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, zone 5, if you've seen it put that way. And then depending on the activity, in biking, it'll show this in miles per hour, whereas in running, it'll show you in how many minutes it takes you to run a mile, which is the typical pace. You can put in the gear that you're using, how the workout felt. This RPE is rate of perceived exertion. This was very easy. You don't have to do any of this, but just kind of different options that are here. So this one will show me more this training effect, how much was aerobic, anaerobic. Again, I don't totally understand all of that. No, this one still doesn't show what I was looking for. Okay, so now we can see it's giving me the pace in minutes. I bet you I forgot to turn this off. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I really ran for an hour and 32 minutes. I'm a slow runner, okay? How many calories I burned, personal record. The thing I was looking for, yeah, here we go. Now this, I will be totally honest, I have no idea. I don't have any other device that measures this, so I don't know how accurate it is. But it measures your cadence, steps per minute, your stride. I'm guessing it compares with the GPS data, vertical oscillation, vertical ratio. Again, I'm not a runner. I don't know exactly what all that means. Ground contact time. And then it'll break down for you each minute, or each mile, pardon. It'll break down each mile for you and tell you what was your heart rate during that mile, what was your pace during that mile, etc. So, and again, we could put gear on there. This is one thing. I wish that all of the features, all the settings were in the same place, and they're not. Okay, this is where I can set how often to check the heart rate. And I told it not to give me a warning if it went too high or too low. This one I think is kind of hit and miss. It's supposed to tell you like sleep apnea type of thing. If when you're sleeping, you're not breathing as well. Stress relief notification. So yeah, that's not the one I was looking for, but those are a couple things. You can see the watch faces here, and there's a lot of free and some paid options. Again, my favorite one has actually just been the one it came with by default. There are some different apps, some free, some paid. I really haven't experimented with any of these either, but just want you to be aware that there are some different apps there. So this allows you to say which apps it's able to show a notification on your phone for. So you probably don't want every single notification to show up on your watch. And incoming text messages right there. If you want or don't want that, I do. I like it. And then, yeah, if we want the stand reminders and the achievements, if it wanted to vibrate and tell us that. You can keep the screen on the whole time you're doing a workout. If you want to constantly be able to look down and see what your heart rate is, for example, or what your speed is. This control center is when you swipe down, you can choose what things show up and don't show up. It was helpful to see what the names of them were, because some of them by the symbol, I was like, I don't even know a clue what that is. If it's on your right or your left wrist, give you a nice morning update, and you can choose what you want that to be. This is when you swipe to the left, what the automatic things are there. I think these are just all the apps you can install and whether or not you want them to show up. This shortcuts card is what is on the different screens as you swipe left to right. And where is that? So the Bluetooth calls, you can either just have it notify you that there's a call incoming, or you can actually answer it on the phone. You don't have to, obviously, but it works pretty well. If you want to be able to send text messages, and then if you want it to sync with your Google Calendar, Apple Calendar, you can choose different places you want it to check for the weather. Mine's linked with Strava. I can specify which activities I want it to sync. I'll just show you these other couple ones really quick. Badges. And then Aura is kind of like their AI thing. You have to pay for most of the things, but it's supposed to be kind of like an AI health coach. So there's that option too. I've found the GPS to be really accurate. The heart rate seems to be really good, but I've used this for probably hundreds of workouts, and the numbers make sense anyway. I haven't verified it with another heart rate monitor, but the numbers make sense. It seems like it's where it says that it is. Heart rate zones are also really helpful on those workouts. We'll show you different heart rate zones. And then it tracks a couple other unique things. The PAI is a 7-day rolling number where the more intensity and the longer the workout is, you get more points for that. And there's some studies which I can link in the description. I had to kind of look because there wasn't a lot of description or explanation with the product as to what that means, but some kind of research behind it actually, in terms of if we keep that PAI number over 100, again, it's a 7-day rolling thing. So on this Tuesday, now last Tuesday's, whatever numbers I'd earned kind of falls off. But it does have some pretty compelling links with overall longevity and health and things like that, which makes sense. It also has a thing that it's changed the name on a couple of times, even just since I got the watch. It now calls it hybrid charge. And I would compare it to like if you're looking at battery bar on your phone and it's getting lower as the day goes on, and then when you recharge it goes back up. So when you sleep, the better your sleep is, the higher that number will be in the morning. And then throughout the day, the more physical you are, the more exercises you do, you'll see that number come down. And so it starts at, I think it is 100. And I have, again, just from my own experience, that number seems to be pretty consistent. I don't live by it, but sometimes I've looked at it and it's 15 and I'm like, yeah, I do feel, really beat, really exhausted. So kind of an interesting metric there as well. A few other things I'll show you. This does have a voice recognition kind of assistant. I think they call it Zep Assistant. Zep is the name of the app. So if I hold that top button, it will come on. There is a little bit of a lag, but I can ask it to start a workout. I can ask it to, I honestly haven't used it that much. Start a timer, I do a lot. Let's see if it works right now. Start a 5-minute timer. So
starting a 5 minutes timer.
So by default, if I push that top button just once, it will bring up the list of the different apps. And there is a limited app store where there's some additional things you can add. You can also change the way this looks so that it's more like the little dots and it doesn't have the description. It just has the icon, which again is very similar to what I've seen on my wife's iPhone. So there's those options. You can also, though, if I swipe left and right, I can customize what comes up where on these options and how many of them there are. This one's a kind of helpful one that'll just show my daily activities, steps. Green one is fat burning activity, and then how many times per hour I've stood at least once. And you can set your own goals for those things too. It'll notify you if you've met your goal or not. And then if I swipe down, let me go back to the home screen first. If I swipe down, these are all customizable as well, where I can change what icons show up and where they show up. But just some of the ones I'll show you. So this is flashlight, which actually is super helpful. You can even turn on a red flashlight if I don't want it to mess up my night vision. That's the one I probably use the most, honestly. There's like a theater mode. This one's the one I was telling you about. If it was in water, it will have you turn it this way and then push that. It makes a noise and it's supposedly ejecting the water. Yep, and then it wants you to wipe that side with a towel. I will say, this is my second watch. It was covered under warranty and it was very easy to get it replaced, but I wasn't even, I'd been washing my hands. I don't know what happened, but these buttons just stopped working. I think it had something to do with some water getting in there though. Other things would respond, the touchscreen responded, but that is one thing just wanted to share as feedback. That was probably a month ago, so maybe after 5 months, I did have to get the watch replaced. And again, their customer service was very good, but I admit it has made me a little more hesitant about submerging the watch since then. I know it's supposed to be waterproof, but and my silicone case might have been part of it too. Maybe that was holding the water in there in a way that wasn't intended to be. So I don't know. The watch faces, like with most smartwatches, are customizable. I like this one the most because I can see the most all at once. I wish it told me the date. That's the one thing I think is weird that's not on there by default. The green shows me how much charge I have left. I need to charge this pretty soon. And then just some of the other things that are nice at a glance to see what my current heart rate. And you can set that. I have it checking every 5 minutes. You can have it check every minute or every 10 minutes, and that changes the battery life quite a bit. Distance, how far I've walked, how many steps I've taken, what that hybrid charge number is, how many times I've been standing, the heart rate variability, how many kilocalories I've burned so far, how many hours of sleep I got last night, and then that PAI number that I was talking about. Okay, I'm going to show a little closer up on the actual watch here to show you a few things. It's already showed you this button. We'll walk you through all the different options that are here. I'm not going to look at all of those, but just show you kind of what's what's available there. And then this one gets you straight to the tracking. So if we're going to go on a walk, it'll turn green once it has enough GPS. You can just hit go before that if you want to, and it just won't have the GPS quite yet, but it'll still start tracking everything else. And these screens are a little bit different too, depending on the workout, but I can scroll this way, I can pause, go to navigation, which is where I can get it to show me, hey, I want to go back to where I started. And it'll say, do you want just a straight line as the bird flies, or do you want to, pardon me, do you want to go just directly back, or do you want do you want to exactly backtrack? I can create a route in the app and then follow that. Yeah, I can mark my current location. I haven't really found out where you find that, but it is an option. Discard, no. Anyway, so those are kind of some cool options. I'll show you that one a little more in a second. I can start and play music. It is possible to put music on the actual watch. It doesn't have a whole lot of storage. I haven't been able to figure out how much, and I've never actually done that, but it is an option. And then let me get back to where we were. I don't know how to get back to that main screen. Oh, here we go. Okay, so this is kind of our default screen, heart rate, distance, speed, duration, and then I can scroll, again, depending on which workout I'm doing, it's gonna show me different things here, how many steps, how many calories, what my heart rate has been, kind of a graph of it, and then a map there. And then yeah, music there. So it'll connect with my phone. I can hit play, and you can even connect Bluetooth headphones to the watch, but again, I haven't found a lot of utility in that personally. And then it'll give me this summary at the end of the workout. Again, I can scroll through different pages. It'll show me different information there. And I can see here the 2 white dots. There's another page too. Yeah, it's not telling me anything. Sometimes it'll say more. And then, so this is, I can customize what all of these are, and which one shows up where, but it'll just kind of scroll through different options as far as things that are quick and easy to get to. This compass I've actually found to be pretty accurate, which is kind of cool. Those PAIs, weather, steps, music, and back to where we started there. So that's pretty neat as well. The charger is just unfortunately it wouldn't work with like any Apple Watch charger. It has to be specific to this, but it just magnets on right there, and then it has a USB-C cord that plugs into it. I'll show you really quick. Okay, so this is what the charger looks like. It just comes like that. I'm trying to remember if it even included the USB-C, but who doesn't have a USB-C sitting around, right? So it magnets on like that. It says it takes about 2 hours to charge. I found that to be pretty accurate. I like charging it. In fact, I'll probably plug it in right now, kind of during the day when I'm not doing much. That way it's not missing activity, or maybe in the evening, but not while I'm sleeping, because I do like that sleep data. So just a tip from me, but charge it whenever you want to. I have to say, I really like this watch. Before getting this, I was not someone who really wore a watch. I thought smartwatches were kind of stupid. I don't know why people were so crazy about them. But it has been super nice to be able to quickly look at my watch and see who's calling, or look at my watch and read a text message. Or I've really been a lot more motivated personally with my fitness and my exercise to be able to track and see those things. How many calories did I burn? How far did I go? And what was my heart rate? And what zones was that staying in? Is really been very motivating for me, actually. So I have no affiliation with Amazfit. I did not receive this watch for free. I don't get any kind of compensation from them. This is my 100% honest review. If you have any questions, leave those below in the comments. I do read those. I will get back to you. If you found it helpful, I hope you'll consider subscribing for more helpful content, leaving a like, and sharing this with someone else. Always helps to make the algorithm happy and help more people find it. So